Hi, everyone. The Lindsay Clancy trial. Now, things have changed as the DA, the state, they finished with their last witness. And now, well, I guess yesterday, they began the defense witnesses, right? And the most powerful witnesses for the defense would be Lindsay Clancy's mother and her sister. This is the first time we're going to see them. However, this is where I think the DA, the district attorney, she just phenomenal questioning. This is where you see the state gaining momentum in this case. And how do you win? I mean, the thing is, the state, I would state, the prosecution is literally winning at this point. But for justice, I mean, is how I would see it. You're not going to ever get back those three precious little children that Lindsay Clancy murdered. And I know everybody wants to blame it on the psychiatrist and everyone else except Lindsay Clancy, the one who is culpable. And then I was really flabbergasted when I found out, well, Patrick, her husband, is actually not on the side of the prosecution. So basically, the prosecution is the one that's speaking and fighting for the justice of the three children that had elastic gym bands placed as a ligature around their necks until they stopped breathing. Horrible way to die. Cora was just 5 years old, and and her brothers, four or three, probably three, because they were very close in age, and then Callan, the little guy, it's just a toddler, like 9 months old. Three of them. These were those bands. That's what she used as ligatures to strangle her children to death. Now, what bothers me about this case with Lindsay Clancy, she just starts crying uncontrollably, so they can't get through one autopsy. Now, most of these cases, well, it just look at the statistics. Most of these crimes, any type of murders or homicides, it usually comes back to somebody you know or a family member. 9 out of 10 times. And you don't hear them not being able to control their emotions, but Lindsay Clancy gets a pat on the back. And anytime she cried, oh, we need a break. So they can't get through the autopsies. So I guess they finally did, sort of. And like, the district attorney can't even ask the questions. The defense wants her like to hurry up. And you do have to ask the questions correctly and accurately, because just one word can mean so much difference. This was premeditated. I don't care what anybody says. It's totally different than Andrew Yates. I don't like when people compare, just because, okay, children are murdered by their mother. Okay, so now everybody has postpartum psychosis. No, she didn't have that. And if she did, you can't blame on the psychiatrist. There, there were powerful statements that her mother made, and I do want to get to all of that. But the mother knew. This is not hearsay. She heard Lindsay say this. She was in the kitchen with Patrick at the time in December, when she doesn't remember the exact date, but it was in December, that she had thoughts about hurting the children. Did you commit her? No. because I was there. You didn't take the kids with you to Connecticut? That's where the mother lives. No, because I was there. Okay. But you weren't there in January. And I'm sorry, she wasn't. And you could tell she was worried because she was texting Lindsay every day. And I think it was to cover her ass in case something would happen. But she should have been there. You don't leave a mother alone that just came out of a locked unit with, and the way they're describing it, oh, she had suicidal ideation every single day, most of December, and since Thanksgiving. Right now, when the sister took the stand, this is a person she's supposed to really, really close to. Nobody contacted any psychiatrist from the family. Nobody did to say, yeah, by the way, Lindsay has suicidal ideation, and she spoke about harming the children. No, they didn't do that. And I don't know about appearances, because what bothered Lindsay so much, oh, they're going to know at the daycare she's not using her car. Her mother was driving them. That's in October. The sister, everybody wants this huge lawsuit. Let's sue, psychiatrists and people that were trying to help. And you're going to complain that they didn't see Lindsay in person. Well, you guys did nothing. The psychiatrist is not going to babysit Lindsay. Did you give her a hug? The defense attorney asked. Are you kidding me? I worked as a psych nurse. No, you're not supposed to ever even be in arm's length of these people. And it's inappropriate. You don't do that. So her sister's a social worker, and the DA, district attorney, she nailed. I'm sorry, I don't really know her name from Massachusetts. She did. She nailed it. But I know the way that this is going. All right, the media sort of, they're not sure which way to make you think, but because Lindsay's not the most likable person, so but a lot of people are leaning toward, oh, the bad psychiatrists, they're so bad. They were only with her for 15 minutes. Well, actually, she was longer than most. She was there 29 minutes. Dr. Tufts. And I knew, like, from 2015, 2016, and anybody can check this, psychiatrists, they changed the rules. It was 15 minutes per patient. That's it. All psychiatrists do, they prescribe medicine. So you should actually thank Dr. Tufts that she went and did more than she should, because they don't do that. They don't. But no good deed goes unpunished, because I would never have seen this woman again because she was not complying with any medications. There's no support system. She says she has a support system. The sister lives in a different state. 10 years she's moved away from Lindsay. She doesn't talk to her on the phone. She said that to law enforcement, but it's through only text messages. So no, I don't see there's a close relationship at all. Patrick doesn't talk to any of these psychiatrists, even in a telemedicine visit. What was it, one at the very end? So, no. Those children were murdered, and the culpability is not on the psychiatrist. The culpability is on this family. The immediate support that I guess Lindsay thought she had. Maybe, this is who you should blame, because it really is who you should blame. But I'm just so tired of these family members wanting to always sue somebody for, it's their responsibility. It's not the world's responsibility. It is not. Nobody wants to report. And the social worker is a mandated reporter. And this is where the district attorney won this argument. And she knew damn well she had to answer this correctly, and she could not fabricate anything. And this is going to haunt them and the lawsuit. And I'm glad. Because guess what happens every time these people sue, whether or not they even win? All right, well, malpractice claim. You're not suing the doctor. She's not neglect. She didn't do anything wrong. She did everything by protocol. Lindsay's the one who didn't even stay on meds very long, like a day, and she chose what she was taking. Really, it's not their fault. But they still have to get a lawyer, and the malpractice is still going to go up, I guarantee it. And telemedicine is supposed to be there to help people. So no one's going to want to prescribe you anything through telemedicine. And now you're going to have to drive to a doctor's office and get sick, wait for hours, and telling you, psychiatrists, well, oh, it's no difference. They don't really look at any patient. Trust me. 15 minutes. That's what they are allotted. That's the law. They are not listening to what medications. Okay, they would just continue, Lindsay, on the medications. It takes a while for them to work. Somehow there should be special treatment for this woman that kills her kids? No, not at all. Just because she could afford an expensive defense attorney? No. She's not better than anybody. Actually, she's pretty damn bad. No, I believe she's very manipulative. I possibly had borderline personality disorder, and there aren't medications for that. Personality disorders are very difficult. But this woman is just not a good person. You just got to face this in life. There are people that do things for just bad reasons. But I wouldn't leave this woman watching my kids, would you? That's how you need to look at things. The Patrick did. The mom did. The grandma. The sister doesn't care. She doesn't even talk to her sister. She went to the birthday party. Of course, what she didn't know, and the defense attorney didn't elaborate, Lindsay manipulated this whole thing with this voluntary commitment. So if she goes voluntarily, she can get out right at, oh, it's Cora's birthday party. So she could not get a proper diagnosis. That's a fact. That's what the psychiatrist from McLean's inpatients say. And they want to sue them too because what, they don't have enough staff? Here's her sister.
A day after this all happened back in 2023?
Yes.
And do you recall telling them that you saw Lindsay to the 24th, roughly around the birthday party time, and that she seemed okay?
Yes.
Do you recall telling the police that you spoke to her in phone calls many times after she was discharged to McLean, and that her tone of voice in those calls seemed better?
I did not speak to her on the phone. Most of our communication was via text.
So you don't recall saying that to the police, that the tone of Lindsay's voice in our phone conversations was better the last couple of weeks since she had been released from the hospital?
I believe when I said that, I meant her tone via her text messages.
Yeah, see, that is very important. But she had a pretty good comeback on that because, you don't want to perjure yourself, right? No.
January 19th, 2023, and all of your community.
I believe so, yes.
You didn't reach out or call her at all, correct?
I reached out and called, yes. I did not visit her at her home, no.
When you called, did she respond? Did she answer the phone?
I'm sorry, let me backtrack. I can't recall whether I made a phone call. I can recall the majority of our community text message.
Okay, so there could have been some phone calls.
I cannot recall any phone calls.
Not that close to her sister.
You are a licensed social worker, correct?
Correct.
And you're a mandated reporter, correct?
Yes.
And at any point in time between January 1st, 2023 and January 24th, 2023, did you have enough concern about the safety of the kids or the safety of your sister to file a report as a mandated reporter?
No.
She had to be very careful with answering that because she is mandated as a social worker, and she didn't. So they nailed it. They did. So she did an awesome job, the district attorney, on that. And I don't know if you caught how did you have, it wasn't any concern. Did you have enough concern? Did you have enough concern? That's huge. No, she didn't. There wasn't enough concern that she felt Lindsay would harm the children or harm herself. No. But that's not what she kind of testified earlier to about all the suicidal ideation. That's weird how she just jumps back, right? But her mom, I'm sorry, this family, about appearances again, I just see this a lot of times, and this is a big problem. They don't want to ever talk about the elephant in the room. And sometimes that's a big issue, that it is the mother. The mother that's the best mom out of everyone, right? The best mom they know. Well, that best mom killed the kids. But we can't let anybody know that it was really Lindsay Clancy that did. We have to blame the psychiatrist or the pills or whatever, and let's blame it on this diagnosis. And, it's everybody but them. And instead of trying to understand exactly what happened and what went wrong on their part, because they weren't involved with the psychiatrist. They weren't there interacting at all with psychiatrists, telling the psychiatrist, she calls me in October. Now, this was never reported to the psychiatrist. Now she knows it. And I'm sure she and her attorney or attorneys are watching very carefully the testimony, since she's being sued. I can't stand it. Lindsay was scared to sleep alone. She needed her mom to come babysit her. This is a woman that should not have those kids there. And the mom knew it. The mom said, no, why didn't you get her committed? Why was there? So you didn't take the kids? Because I was there. Okay, you were there, but you left too. She did leave. And she's not a psychiatrist. Lindsay's mom, Lindsay's sister, neither of them can determine that. But they felt, oh, the kids are fine. Really? Based on what? She came off of Seroquel. That's what the sister states, why she was in McLean Hospital. Not because of suicidal ideation. No, don't tell them the truth, that my sister wants to harm the children. That was never told to them, because I guarantee they would not have let her leave. And those children would be alive today. And Lindsay probably wouldn't be jumping out the window and paralyzed. This could have been prevented. And it's not a tragedy. I mean, it could have been prevented. There's a difference when a tragedy happens. You can't do anything. But they had months to do something. They had months, and they failed those children. The sister did, the mother did, and Patrick did. Not the psychiatrist. No. No, because she didn't have this information. The culpability is on this family. And that's what needs to come out. And people need to be able to state, yeah, my daughter or my sister, the perfect mother, is having problems being a mother. She wants to harm the children. Those are the facts. It's something in her brain, whether it's neurotransmitters, they don't know, because they couldn't test anything. they don't work right away. And if you're borderline personality disorder, who knows? There's a lot of things that they just don't even know about the brain. It's not like they can just look at a test like for, oh, your kidneys aren't working. Yeah, we can do that. But no, it's not that easy. So, and we're not going to do they're not going to do some genetic testing to see your predisposition of some mental history. I mean, maybe you shouldn't have a child back to back, especially when she was experiencing some depression, the mother states, after the first one, Cora. Yeah. I don't know. They just fail these kids, every one of them. Not the psychiatrist, only the family, because they didn't want to deal with anybody knowing. It's the biggest elephant in the room. It's the biggest problem that they're having. And they're going to tiptoe around the truth.